A Latina woman in an apron stood a few feet away, tossing French fries to the bird, who caught them in its beak. Gabriel set down his boots and took the cigarette from his mouth. "Sorry about being late," he said. "Car wouldn't start." The captain sipped his black Java and squinted back, looking up at Gabriel and into the sun. "Save your heartfelt sagas of mechanical failure for some other job," he said, his voice boozer rough. "This morning arrives the proverbial pink slip." "Come again?" "You heard right the first time. We're officially out of work." Gabriel cussed, spat. He said it figured. "The minute I fucking woke up," he said, "I knew this wasn't my day." Douglas nodded and sighed, like a drought farmer regarding a tumbleweed. He explained the owner had informed him that morning that he'd decided to sell out, couldn't afford the costs of diesel and their pay with how little they'd been catching. They couldn't compete with the shrimp farms in Brazil, raising them for half the price it cost to catch what few were left in the Gulf. "Fucking Brazilians," said Gabriel. "My sentiments exactly." Gabriel drop-kicked his rubber boots into the pitted asphalt of the dockside road. He shook his head and walked in a tight circle toward the El Camino and then back. Finally, he said, "What do we do now?" Douglas believed that to be a good question. "Something else," he said. Gabriel thought about it for a minute, squinting into the heat lamp's sunlight. They stood silent and stricken. The crawdad smell of Red Moon Bay engulfed them. On the surface of the water near their boat slip, beside the hull of the Maria de las Lágrimas, floated a white rubber glove like a severed hand in a rainbow sheen of diesel beside a pair of dead minnows. "What do we do now?" began Douglas. He smiled, like a mortician about to detail the price of caskets. "I suggest something that doesn't involve fish." About noon, Gabriel was back near the docks. He found a place in the mother-of-pearl oyster-shell parking lot of the Black Tooth Cafe. He'd been drinking for 2 hours, Tecate with whiskey chasers, but had brushed his teeth to fool the world, downshift his rageaholic transmission into sweet and innocent. In his present blurry condition, his movements were like a Tejano gunslinger, deliberate and pointed. He checked his face in the rear view to make sure he was composed, handsome as ever, teeth straight and white, black hair thick as a brush. He was in his early 20s, and perhaps losing that lousy job was the best thing that could happen to him. When he stepped out, he watched his reflection, liking the way he looked in the window glass of his gold El Camino. Things would work out. He was young. He had potential. Plus he owned a car the color of good tequila. He smoothed back a shock of his hair and straightened his bushy eyebrows, then stood as tall and straight as he could for being a bit on the short side of things. He headed toward the door and grimaced, noting the license plates of the vehicles filling the lot. Wisconsin, Minnesota, Saskatchewan, Iowa. The place was full of old Yankee tourists, and if there was one thing he hated, it was the fucking tourists. Fucking old, white tourists. Snowbirds. They were always smiling and friendly. They lived their whole fat lives in good moods. They had pink noses and white hair like lab rats. The only thing they needed now was whiskers in a cage. They discussed the flavor of gumbo like it was the weather or local gossip. Like, "I think the gumbo is especially good today, don't you? Just the right amount of shrimp. And the okra? You can't get okra like this in Madison." It was enough to make you want to jab an oyster knife in a snowbird's gut. Staring at all the northern license plates in the parking lot, Gabriel felt like Sitting Bull at the Little Bighorn. Good moods came.